and welcome to my studio. I just wanted to chat with you a little bit today while I'm having this cinnamon coffee. I do have a pug in the chair with me, so you will probably hear him and he'll probably jump down at some point. This is kind of a weird time for me to just be sitting here drinking coffee, but I had been sick and it's taking me a long time to recover, and I have had just really low energy, and I haven't been working as much as I normally do. I haven't been able to produce work in the way that I normally do. So I'm trusting that. I'm trusting there's a reason for that. Because why not? Why not look at it in a positive way? So this morning I was doing some meditating and journaling and kind of dreaming into the future, and those are things that I like to do together. I like to combine those things. And I pulled an oracle card, and the card said, "Trust your path. What would you do if you knew you were supported?" And I thought of how many times I've heard that question in spiritual direction context and in life coaching context and just in different conversations with people, listening to thought leaders, listening to teachers. That question of what would you do, like if you knew that you were not going to fail, if you knew that only good was going to come of it, if you knew that you were going to be successful, whatever success would mean in that arena, what would you do? And I think it's such a rich question, and I'm not always sure that I know how to answer it. And what it made me start thinking about was this very idea about path, about purpose, and whether or not there are things about our lives that are set into motion before we are born, that are part of a destiny. Do we have these contracts? Have we said, yes, I will come into a life and I will do these things? How much of that is flexible? How much are we reinventing? Maybe there are multiple stories that our lives can take. What I don't believe is that everything is random, and I don't believe that we are alone. I do believe that there is meaning to this life, even if we don't always know what the meaning is. I do believe that we are created by an abundantly loving creator. I'm not going to endeavor to define God, but I do believe in God. And I do believe that we as children of God have spiritual support around us. Whether you think of this, and I don't think it's all the same. So I'm not saying that only one of these things can exist. I think all of these things can exist, but whether you're comfortable thinking about that support as angels or spirit guides or just spirit in general, Holy Spirit, maybe you're only comfortable thinking about Christ and what Christ consciousness is and what Christ energy is, cosmic Christ, the universal Christ, or just God. And I know there are people who feel only comfortable talking about God, just God and the earth, and that's it. Through scriptural reading, through studying the Bible, the history, listening to other spiritual paths, listening to teachers, I have fully come to the belief and understanding that we have spiritual support, that there are angels, that there are spirits, those in spirit who have our best interest at heart and want to help and want to guide. And how much of guidance there is, I don't know. How much there's a lot of mystery, right? There's a lot of mystery about life and what we're doing here. Something that I have struggled with over the years is that I have a tendency toward well, I have a very rich imagination. And so I have to sometimes pull myself back. I have to ground myself. I don't, it's real easy for me to believe all kinds of fantastical, crazy things. And so I have to be aware of that. And I think that's one reason why theological study is so important for me, because it does ground me down into, this reality. And, but anyway, I've gone a little bit off topic. Support. And so if we're supported, how much of our lives are we creating through the choices we make, through our outlook, through our dreams, through our prayer, what we're asking for in prayer? When I sit down with my journal and I go into a meditation and I describe a day in my future and what I would like for that day to look like and feel like, how much influence does that have over my actual lived experience? Are we asking for things and creating a life as we go along, or do we come into this life with a set pattern or path with things that are going to happen? My belief, and this belief just comes strictly from my heart and what I, just what I believe. It's not, I have no evidence for it. It's not based in anything. My belief is that we have an enormous amount of flexibility there, and that we are always creating through our choices, and we can change course a million times, and we have a lot of choice because we have free will. We can choose. Maybe you are born with a gift or a tendency and you choose not to pursue that gift or tendency and you choose something else. And I think we just have an amazing amount of flexibility. I do think there are things that happen and that those things just happen, and there's not a reason that they happened. And I don't think anything that happens in our lives is a punishment or anything like that. But I do think that we have made some agreements about mission, about soul mission, and why we are here. This is something that I believe increasingly, because it certainly seems like a reality to me that we are on a shifting planet in a shifting cultural landscape. The earth is changing, and she has changed before, and whether or not humans will remain a part of the earth after these changes are complete remains to be seen. But for whatever reason, we are here during a time of great changes with the earth. If you live in the Western world, if you live in the United States, then you are also here during a time of great cultural shifting and changing. It is not easy, and these are weird times, to be sure. But I believe that there's a reason that we're here. There's a reason that we're here now. I believe there's a reason why you were born into your life with your personality and your energies and your tendencies, and why I was born into this life, and that we do have things that we are here to do, and we are here to be vessels of love. I do personally believe that we are extensions of, that when we say that we are children of God, that what that means is that we were, the loving Creator bore us here. That energy, that life force energy that comes from God, that is what is making us live. That is what breathes life into us. And I believe that God is breathing life into us in every moment. And when God stops doing so, that is when we leave the physical and we go back into the spiritual. So do I look at every choice I've ever made and every path I've ever walked and every relationship I've ever had and say all of that was meant to be? Absolutely not. I don't think all of that was meant to be. I've made lots of choices, and I have regrets about some of the choices that I've made. But I think I wouldn't be here in a body on this planet if I didn't still have a purpose for being here and a reason for being here. And I don't always have clarity about what that is. I think it's something that I think about on a day-to-day basis, on an in-the-moment basis. Like, what is my heart telling me? Where is my heart guiding me? What is my intuition telling me? So what would I do if I knew I was going to be supported in doing it? Well, one thing I would do is I would write books, and the impulse to write and the knowledge that I was going to write books in my life has been something that I have had my whole life. I have always known that I would. And here I am. I've been alive for 50 years. I have not really done it. I mean, I haven't done it. And I don't know why, and I don't know what stops me, and I don't know what holds me back. But I wonder if in some place, in some part of me, it is that fear of not being supported, of, you know, what if I pour all of this time into a writing project and then it just sits on a shelf? I don't know, maybe. What is it that I'm supposed to write about? I have an inkling. Most of my understandings are just inklings, little impressions. Do I think that art making and image making is part of my soul's purpose? Absolutely it is. That it's always been a part of my, it was a part of my life when I was younger. I always knew that I was drawn to it and that it was a part of me. When I came back to painting after taking such a long break, I felt like I almost had no part in it. I mean, it was just something that happened to my life. It was like, you're going to do this. You're going to do it now. So there was no choice making there for me. I did it because I did it. So yeah, that's definitely in some way a part of my purpose. I don't know in the wholeness of life how it relates to purpose. I think we all have the same purpose in that we are here to love one another. I think we are here to love. We are here to be vessels of divine love. We are here to share compassion with one another. I believe that what we as a collective are doing right now is trying to move our perception out of polarity. Things are appearing to be extremely divided at the moment. So much hostility and, you know, I'm right, you're wrong mentality that's going on. And I think that's absolutely the thing we're here to heal and to evolve and move out of that polarity, move out of that dualistic thinking into oneness. It's all about love. So I wonder about reframing that question. Who would you love? Where would you love? Where would you direct your love if you knew that you were going to be supported? Maybe the answer to the question of what is your life purpose is what do you love? How do you love? Maybe that's the only question we ever really need to be answering, and the only way that we ever need to be living. One of the things I'm doing now, it's Lent now, and as I'm examining my life and examining the things I do that don't work and putting those things down and moving toward acceptance that everything that I need comes from God, that the relationship with God is the only relationship that really serves and to make us whole. I'm thinking about where I've been closed down to love, where I have closed love down, and where I can open it back up and be more open and let my heart be revealed and let my heart be the leader in my life. I'm looking at what needs to go, what's cluttering up the heart space, what needs to go. And I am thinking about my path, and I do believe there's a reason, a path, a mission. I do. And I do believe that there are different ways that we can notice the light that's shining on the path that's lit for us. And the primary way that I know to tap into that is through meditation and prayer, because meditation and prayer is like plugging into the wall socket. It's like plugging into God, into the source, where what we really are and where we really come from. When we meditate and we pray, we pull back the veil of illusion and remember what we really are. We remember that we are love and that we are guided and held by love. So, I'm doing this morning journaling meditation practice where I'm journaling into the future and imagining a future me. I would invite you to do that with me if that's of interest to you, and we'll see where that takes us and what we learn. And I would really love to hear your answer to the question, what would you do if you knew you would be supported? And maybe it's financial support, maybe it's emotional support. But if you knew that it was the right thing to do, if you knew that it was what you were meant to do, if you knew that you would succeed, that you would not be harmed in doing it, what would you do? Because I think we find ourselves in the center of that question. We find the truth about ourselves, who we really are, not the stories that we've been told about who we are, but who we really are. So I'm examining that, and I would love to hear from you if you're examining that. I hope that you, if you keep Lent, are enjoying a peaceful Lent. I hope that it's becoming spring wherever you are. It's becoming spring here, which is very good. I send you love. I do love you, and I'm so grateful that you're here. Thank you. Thank you for watching this.